Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news now that a lot of retailers are now essentially crashing their own individual market, and it seems like a lot of these really big, kind of just big companies, so think say like a Micro Center, or think some like, like a Walmart, Target, or some of these other big name operations are now looking at even accepting and getting a lot of these other various products, and they're basically turning down these really big companies and not allowing things to actually be sold. Now, this is kind of something somewhat on the rarer side, especially in how crazy the past 2 or 3 years has been on general products when it comes to like GPUs, when it comes to CPUs, when it comes to overall technology. And right now, we're actually seeing a huge uproar of people now finally saying, hey, that's enough. Hey, we do not want this. So we have a lot of kind of crazy things to go talk about, and also very intriguing things too as well, because you would never think that a lot of this stuff would happen like this and flip a switch so fast. So pretty interesting stuff to talk about. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, we have been mentioning a lot of the Samsung promotion. If you guys want to go and check it out down below with the how link, or I also put up on Twitter, feel free to. You guys get a bunch of free money off, or you guys can even just go checking it out because it's a pretty cool deal when it comes to Samsung. Link down below with the Twitter and Twitch stream as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on and all that good stuff. So, as we kind of mentioned, right now we're kind of in this really weird, almost like tipping point, where a lot of these now big name brands are basically saying no to a lot of these different types of like restocks, a lot of terms of production, supply, and everything, and it's kind of been going kind of nutty. So we've kind of been seeing this floating around in a few other different sources too as well, but this is probably one of the best cases to go and showcase in regards to a lot of the GPUs. Now, this may not be happening like in a hardcore sense, say for the Xbox Series S, X, Switch, or whatever, but a lot of this stuff is also related towards a lot of these things overall. So with this, you guys can kind of read the headline. Some of the actual names, though, are kind of strange. Just know these are all just different levels of GPUs with different power levels, for lack of better terms. So the GPU price crash is making it hard now for AIBs to offload AMD Radeon graphics cards to the RTX 6700 XT drops below $400 US, and the RTX 660 below $260 US. So that's kind of like, if you guys aren't familiar with GPUs and stuff, it's kind of a weird, basically, title. So first and foremost, a lot of GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs like the 3060, 3070, 3080, 3090s, or a lot of the AMD GPU CPUs were actually upcharged for a lot of their products. They were really hard to produce. There was kind of a huge, massive bottleneck in supply. There was scalpers everywhere. So a lot of places were upcharging them way higher than normal retail value. So let's say a card should have been $1,000. They were charging $1,300. So that'd be like everything from like EVGA to Micro Center to Fry's, Rip in Peace to Best Buy, GameStop, etc. And they were essentially selling well. And a lot of these big, stock companies and stuff are doing good. But now, ever since then, and like a lot of the supply has been somewhat chilling, with scalpers toning down and third-party, like the sellers and botters turning down, basically the price got more equalized. But now we're even seeing big issues where a lot of these places can't even go and sell these cards now, even with the price decreases. So it's not just NVIDIA that has been hurt by the GPU price crash, but AIBs are now having a difficult time offloading their AMD Radeon RX 6000 graphics cards too. The AMD Radeon RTX 6000 graphics cards are becoming difficult to sell. AIBs ready for a big price cuts to now help them get rid of their inventory. So this is crazy to go and see. I know there's a lot of kind of like smaller like acronyms and such, but a report from graphics card channel dealers published by My Drivers states that Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI are having a difficult time trying to convince retailers, so that'd be, like I said, like the Best Buys, Target, Amazons, Micro Centers, whatever, and distributors to buy Radeon RX 6000 series cards for sale in the consumer segment. The reason is just like NVIDIA's GPUs, which saw a huge price jump during the mining boom, but pricing has now been plummeting heavily. So this is, like I said, like basically they were making huge money and printing huge money. Like some cards are almost getting close to like a double the price of what they should have been retail pricing. And it just ended up just not turning out well. It turned out really awful. And now this kind of also ties into with the AMD cards, because a lot of those were still good, but not market leaders. So it's just not being sold as well. Plus, also they're somewhat more confusing name-wise to know like what's better, what's worse, what's better in comparison-wise, etc., etc. Like for like a NVIDIA card, a 3000 series card is probably less good than say a 4000 series card in the future or a 5000 series card in the future. It's kind of obvious. All these AMD cards are all over the place. They're not that hardcore, but say like here's someone brand new. And basically we've been seeing a lot of these cards, more so in the AMD cards, that have actually been plummeting, even worse than NVIDIA's GPUs, and there's basically little to no demand for gaming cards right now. Mainly because I'm sure a lot of hardcore fanatics who wanted to get their cards as of this second probably already have them, or they paid the premium for them. A lot of crypto mining, such as Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc., have also all kind of been toned down as well, just in terms of production and what they're getting and all of that type of stuff. And just overall, a lot of the supply chain issues, while not fixed, have been making really good steps to be slightly better. In the most recent earnings of Q2 2022, AMD did confirm that the discrete gaming graphics side has seen a decline, and while revenue of the division increased by 32%, it was mostly due to strong growth in the semi-custom business, which includes console SoCs for both Microsoft's Xbox and Sony's PlayStation systems. So basically just kind of goes to show, we'll maybe talk about this in a separate video, that basically the consoles are doing well and have been doing well. But if you look at AMD's individual products, so I think their CPUs and GPUs, apparently not so much. Now, granted, this is also middle line as of right now. So think how like the Switch obviously would get less sales as it's been out for quite some time. So as we're watching all this stuff, it's not the end of the world because they'll have future cards and have better improvements and have more sales and blah, 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 blah. So basically revenue increased 32% year over year to $1.7 billion as semi-custom growth more than offset a decline in gaming graphics sales. Gaming graphics declined this quarter as macro conditions impacted discretionary spending too as well. So basically, they just kind of know that a lot of their cards are just kind of not doing too good. We'll maybe touch on that for a separate PS5 Xbox video. So as a result, AMD exclusive AIB partners, such as Sapphire, have already officially announced a drop in their prices for their premium Radeon cards. It has been reported by IT Home that the Sapphire Radeon RTX 6700 has dropped to a price of 3,001, originally priced at 3,700. So basically it had a huge 20% drop in price, where it dropped down from $543 now to $440. The manufacturer has also planned similar price reductions on the rest of its high-end and also lower-end products. So basically right now we're kind of seeing that these big GPU products are just not really selling well, and they want to get rid of their stock, and they also want to tone down the amount of stock they're getting back from all these companies, like say from AMD. However, these manufacturer-specific price cuts for that. So on the retail side of things, though, we could already see that AMD graphics cards prices began lowering almost every day now. As they're writing this piece, the ASRock Radeon card is actually already on sale for almost a $100 reduction from the original MSRP. And while the RTX 6000 has an MSRP of $329, it can now be bought as little as the RTX 6650, which launched at $399 just a few months ago. Basically, just all these places are going down price-wise. It was going to an $8 savings too as well, which is also currently just keep on really tilting down from their usual prices. The thing is that the AMD Radeon series graphics cards are priced lower than their rivaling NVIDIA GPUs. The RTX 6000 series was made to compete with the RTX 3060 series. You're going to see a $100 to $150 price difference here. The RTX 3060 series starts at $350, while the RTX 660 starts at $260. And the same in the case with the RTX 6700 series, which now starts below the current price points as well. I just generally think, too, just from like even reading through the article, talk about this, because it's crazy to see that these retailers are lowering prices and stopping like actual buys. But in all honesty, like the RTX series cards, they're just kind of confusing times. It's kind of hard to have a pure comparison to NVIDIA. Now, anyone who's pretty familiar with GPUs knows, obviously, but I'm thinking more of like general, like you've never heard of a computer before, you have no idea about the internals, and you're walking through like a micro center. It is a little bit confusing, especially with price points being kind of somewhat all over the place too as well. But the big thing is to note that NVIDIA GPUs are still big in demand, although lower, the Radeon series has fallen like off a cliff and it's not doing very well. Also, apparently, too, there's also a new deal even now with the NVIDIA 3080 Ti card. An MSI Ventus 3X OC variant is currently going for a low price of, and that's a 30% drop versus the MSRP of $1,200. down below that with a 30% drop. As I mentioned earlier this week too as well, the AMD and NVIDIA GPU prices will continue to drop across the board. There's also some major price cuts expected by the end of the month too as well. So this is crazy to see that now these big companies are turning down price points finally and like kind of lowering down the MSRP, and as well that they're finally turning away all these other various cards. So kind of crazy news, and I want to hear your thoughts on this down below. And as well, make sure you guys keep on checking the Samsung link down below. Only a few days left in that one. The How link. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on for all the restock news and such. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, the Target links down below, and the Amazon links as well. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching.